This is James and Khaled, and we're here. We're going to be talking all NFL. There's so much news going around. If you're a big NFL guy, Khaled and I were just talking about that. This is your time of year. I love the draft. I love it more than the Super Bowl. So it's going to be real fun. And just we're going to be tomorrow's a big day. We're going to be releasing a interview we're doing with Robin Williams' son Zach
Hmm.
and Kevin Hines, and it's going to be a deep, kind of intense interview. We're doing that later tonight, and we're going to release it tomorrow. If you don't know, Kevin is one of the only people ever, and not to get too deep, to jump off the Golden Gate and live. And he
Wow.
did this 20 years ago. I don't know if you guys ever watched it. It was a cult film. It's called The Bridge, and what they did at the Golden Gate Bridge is they filmed it for a year, and they it was deep, it was hard. I was affected for weeks after watching it,
Hmm.
and Kevin was featured in that, what he went through, his family. They talked to family and friends. It's deep, deep, deep. So we're going to release that tomorrow, and then obviously Florence and JL, we're going and I will be doing our podcast at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, and that's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. We're going to be talking about the Guthrie situation has totally changed. Now the FBI, just craziness going on. It was nothing. Okay, so this isn't going to work, and now it's just
Mhm.
insane.
Wow.
So it's going to be a lot of Zach Williams. Not, yep, Zach Williams, Robin Williams' son. That's going to be who we're talking to tonight. But again, tomorrow it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to release it in the morning, and then we'll be doing our show at 5 o'clock. Jen will be back. We're going to be talking about wine, and we're going to be how to open it, how to do everything, literally how they do it properly. I used to work at a country club for several years, help myself go through college, and I think I see a lot of people. It's a little bit funny. Waiters would laugh at people behind their back when people would do certain things. So we're going to be going through all that. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to be open wine, how to open it, different things like that. Because some are new in it, some of them have been doing it wrong for a long time. So not that we're prissy, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's what's coming up. Khaled, how are you doing? I know this is also a very fun time for you for the NFL.
Oh, absolutely. It's combine week. We're going to be swimming in 40 times and measurements and shuttle drills and all that stuff. So I'm very excited for this week to kick off.
Yep, there. Who could take the most coffee cups across the field? It's going to be every drill known to man. Some valuable, some I don't know why, but hey, whatever. It's a fun time, and I think what's going to happen is uh, what happens with a lot of people is that they get a little too carried away with it. I think
Yeah.
so. It's but I think what's going to happen is we're going to kind of tell you how we uh look at it and view it, because I think the combines are a little overrated. I don't really watch them much. I'll read it in the paper or online or something, but I'm not a big combines guy. But like I said, I don't understand how you could take 4 years of film or 3 years of film,
Mhm.
and then a guy jumps up and hits a peg, real high, and all of a sudden that's the guy. He's climbing up the draft. So, and also it's weird because the
Mhm.
experts have all changed their picks. Today I went online. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the heck is going on? So we're going to talk about who's the hot names and everything else. But the first thing we wanted to talk about and is the franchise tags, because
Yeah.
when the franchise tags come, that's when you know who's going to be where. Are they going to stay? Are they going to go? What's your take on what are you hearing about the franchise tags?
Yeah, the reports that have come out this week already is George Pickens was the big name that got franchise tagged or is going to be franchise tagged by the Dallas Cowboys, which was a big thing. I mean, he was a offseason acquisition for them. He had a great year for them. Was the wide receiver one for a long time while CeeDee Lamb was out. So we expected him to get a long term deal, but it seems like the Cowboys they do business a little different than everybody else. So they're going to franchise tag him. Kyle Pitts is another name that we thought was going to hit free agency, but he's getting franchise tagged as well after having a career best season. Credit to him. He had, a bit of a quarterback carousel. There were some changes there, but he's finally coming into his own. And then Brees Hall was another name that I saw that's going to be franchise tagged unless they can reach a long-term deal, which I know is tricky when it comes to running backs and the Jets. And he was almost traded last season. It seemed like the Chiefs wouldn't give up, I believe, a third-round pick for him, which is, I guess, makes sense in retrospective because they had a lost season. But yeah, those are the three big names I'm seeing that are likely going to be franchise tagged if they have not been already.
Yeah, and I know the Denver media is all over Brees Hall, wanting him to go to Denver, and I don't know if those are rumors are real or if they're making them up. It's always hard this time of year. And Pickens was interesting because ESPN was hot and heavy with them trading for the Raiders, and
Mm-hmm.
in a Max Crosby type deal. Personally, I don't know what you think about Matt. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think this is all talk. I think ESPN had 5 places for him to go, and I thought each
Mm-hmm.
trade was horrible for the Raiders. I wouldn't have done it. So,
Yeah,
what is your
it's
feeling about it?
I feel like John Spytek pretty much put a stop to that talk. I would hope so, at least. I know it's a very hot topic. It sells not tickets, but gets clicks and views and all that stuff. I saw like a whole roundtable thing on NFL Network with Ian Rappaport and some other guys. John Spytek, I mean, I'm going to paraphrase, but he initially said, he's a great player and we're in the business of keeping great players. And I've always maintained that because he's under contract for another 3 years, it just never made sense to trade him unless he basically kicked down Spytek and Davis's door and said, "Get me the hell out of here." He's
Yeah.
under contract. There's no need. All these other guys that got traded recently, Micah Parsons, Khalil Mack, they were all, angling for a new contract. So it was either pay him what he wanted or, basically recover whatever assets you can. But Max is under contract. He's literally has a Raider shield tattooed on his arm. He doesn't want to go anywhere, and the Raiders don't want him to go anywhere. So hopefully that's the end of it. Probably won't be because John Lynch lit some fire to the speculation. He said, talks have begun, but just because you're trying to trade for him doesn't mean he will be traded, and I've maintained that he will not be traded.
Yeah, John Lynch is a very smart guy and he loves to stir the pot. 49ers like drama. And I think that if you look at a lot of their signings, there's a lot of drama behind their signings. And I
Mm-hmm.
think he's just kind of stirring the pot, maybe getting someone else. Because if the Raiders, to me, you remember when Malcolm Kuntz was rushing the passer really well
Mm-hmm.
before he got injured, the Raiders defense was a whole different animal.
Yeah.
And they need to get a madman on the other side. And when you have two edge rushers that are attacking the quarterback, it covers over a lot of stink. And if you could get away with average linebackers or average DBs if you have that pass rush, and then you
Yeah.
could fix that down the road. Because the Raiders have a lot of holes to fill. But I believe that they had a good signing with the guard. They're starting to shore up their offensive line. I think they're doing well there. So I think they're on the right track. I think Crosby's, there's like 6 or 7 media bases that are talking about Crosby. But like you said, why would you trade a guy that's under contract?
Mm-hmm.
Crosby also said, who in their right mind growing up would ever think they would sign a $90 million contract? Because I'm making more money than I ever thought I ever could. I'm
Yep.
good.
Yeah.
So
It's not about money.
he's not one of these guys that I want to be the highest paid player. I want to be the top DL, paid DL. He's not one of those guys. So I think he's going nowhere. They
Mm-hmm.
got to get another pass rusher.
Yeah.
There's just no excuses. I would forget all the defensive positions. That's the thing I want. OL and an edge rusher, and
Mm-hmm.
now you're starting to transform the team. So, but hopefully they're on the right track because the NFL's better when the Cowboys and the Raiders are good. So, there's a lot of hate there for both teams. So and it makes it fun. So, this is an interesting thing. Deshaun Watson is they're saying he looks great.
Yeah.
He's throwing the ball like he's never had. He's now fully healthy. Hopefully he stays out of massage parlors, but he looks great and he's coming back. And Cleveland has 16,000 quarterbacks. So what do you think is going to happen with him? Because with quarterbacks being so good ones being so
Hmm.
few and far between, someone's going to give him a shot.
Yeah, I mean, and why not Cleveland, right? The GM, that's one of the things I like about the combine is we finally hear from the GMs.
Hmm.
Some of them just don't talk much. I mean, I don't think I heard John Spytek talk once all season, which was interesting. So we get to hear some kind of unfiltered takes from the GMs, and Andrew Barry, the GM in Cleveland. He wasn't very definitive, which makes sense, right? But he was basically left the door open for Deshaun Watson to compete for the starting job. I think that's the word that he used. So you have a quarterback room now that's Dylan Gabriel, who didn't look great last year, Shador Sanders, who was really up and down, and then Deshaun Watson, who unfortunately hasn't looked like a competent NFL quarterback. I don't know, in 4 years now, 5 years
Yeah.
now. I've lost track of how long it's been. But I think the NFL always gets caught up on like pedigree and past performance. If you were great once, you're always going to get another chance. And he is under contract. So if you're the Browns, you're like, yeah, why not? Why don't you, come into camp and let's see how it goes. I don't think they prioritize quarterback in the offseason because they have all these other options. And I think they know that they're in for a big rebuild. So why not start at some of the other positions, and then maybe Shador develops into that guy, or maybe by some miracle Deshaun Watson becomes, the a Texans Watson again. So it's a really really interesting story, and I'm really curious to see how much like they actually follow through with this, and if he is going to play, because he does have a long injury history now too.
Yeah, and these scandals, look at Tiger Woods. He was never the same. I think
Yeah,
he had 17,000 mistresses or whatever he had,
he had
and he
more
liked them
mistresses
rough.
than back surgeries, I
Yeah,
think,
a
at some
few
point.
rough. Well, now we know
Yeah.
why his back was out all the time, but he's back surgery, and for 5 years he was just a hot mess, and he never recovered. And you're looking
Mhm.
at look at the horrible situation with Steve McNair. He liked to have some fun on the side and everything, and you get with the wrong person, and it costs you
Mhm.
everything. So
Yeah.
I think that what's happening with Deshaun, you want as a quarterback, to me, I want a leader. And I don't want a guy that's crazy. I don't want narcissists. I don't, and that's the only thing with Deshaun Watson. Who's going to listen to
Mhm.
him?
Yeah.
He's got 27 women, suing him. I mean, I think he
I
settled most of them
I think you're
situations.
giving NFL players a little too much credit here. I think they just, as long as you're winning, I feel like anything can be overlooked. We've seen guys with rap sheets. I mean, maybe quarterback is a little bit different, but as long as you're throwing touchdowns or running for touchdowns, I think the guys in the locker room will overlook that and be like, yeah, he's our quarterback.
I think it's also how it affects the NFL. Because look
Mhm.
at Ray Rice. How many players have been arrested for beating up somebody, especially a
Mhm.
woman? I mean, a lot of them.
Yeah.
He was caught, and the reason was is that the NFL lied.
Yes, they
And
did.
you remember uh, Simmons, what's his name? The great writer. God, I'm so bad on names. The little white guy. Oh God, I forget his name, but he was the most highest paid ESPN guy, and he had this great uh, show that was just amazing, and I forget what it was called, but he was incredible. So he did his own thing at HBO and just blew up. He's great.
Oh, Bill
You
Simmons.
Bill Simmons, yeah,
Oh, okay.
absolute
Yeah, yeah.
icon. And the thing with a lot of these things, if you remember when Bill Simmons questioned the NFL and said, "You guys are lying." Remember, they had no idea about the Ray Rice tape.
Mhm.
TMZ, BBC, every news service was saying, look at this video, and the NFL says we didn't even know what you're talking about.
Mm.
So, and then they said, well, the police sent it to them. The NFL said we never got it. Then when it was proven they did got it, they were extremely embarrassed.
Yep.
Rice was done. He was toast. He embarrassed the league. And if you remember with Colin Kaepernick, he also, that I told him when he got suspended, I said he's never coming back. They're going to do collusion on him. They are never signing him. He
Yeah,
embarrassed
since
the
he got
league.
hurt and released, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing with this. I think they'll let you get away with a lot if you're good, obviously. But I
Mhm.
think also if it doesn't, they can, discretions and all that doesn't bug them. But if it really embarrasses them or makes them look good, what's their motto? Protect the shield. And I
Always.
think
Yep.
that's the big thing with that. But Personally, I wouldn't want Deshaun Watson as my
No,
quarterback.
absolutely
The
not.
guy, the guy that's disappointing me a little bit is Hendon Hooker. He's now over with, excuse me, with the Jets,
Okay.
and he's been let go. He's gone through a couple teams. Boy, a lot of people had him as a potential starter.
Yeah.
And I wonder what happened to him if he just got lost in the dust, got disinterested, or
He's
whatever.
bounced around
But
a couple times, gotten traded and released. Yeah.
yeah, but the Jets said he's made their team so far, so they're going to keep him because the last team he was at, they didn't. He was on the practice squad and they just
Hmm.
released him. So, and
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was, but the Titans or somebody. But yeah, it's really crazy. And now Malik Willis,
Yeah.
everyone wants to give him millions and millions of
$30
dollars,
million.
and
Yeah.
I love Malik at college at Liberty. He was so much fun to watch. But I'm telling you, is the quarterback position that bad? I mean, just
I couldn't believe that number when I saw it. That
yeah,
they used the word. I think it was Adam Schefter. He said it's like a foregone conclusion that he was going to get $30 million a year. I mean, that's not in the scheme of quarterbacks. Like that's not crazy money anymore. That's I mean, Justin Fields got 20 million a year. Uh, so that's not crazy money, but it seems like a lot of money for a guy that at one point looked like he couldn't play quarterback in the NFL. You know, it seemed like he was heading towards a position change, like a Terrell Pryor type. And then he has, I think, 5 good games with Green Bay. With a run heavy offense, he is a very run first, run oriented quarterback. I
yeah,
mean, don't get me wrong, he did look great sometimes. He made some great plays, some great throws. But there's a difference between being, a $2 million backup in a run heavy offense versus being a $30 million a year starter. Uh, I think he's going to end up in Arizona. That seems like the logical place for him, but that is a lot of money for a guy that
yeah.
you're, you know.
I hope he makes it. He's a fun guy. He seems like a good guy.
Hmm.
I'm rooting for him, but wow, I would not sign him for $30 million. Speaking of overrated and overpriced,
Great
guess how
segue.
much money Kirk Cousins has made in his career?
$330 million. All right,
313,
or
and whatever
13.
he gets this year, he's on pace for 330. So $250 million for Kirk Cousins. His agent should be running our country, not anyone else. Good Lord. That
I saw
guy.
the reactions to it, and people are mad at Kirk. I'm like, why are you mad at him? He's not the one
Mm,
that decided. I mean,
not his fault.
he bet on himself a few times. He took the franchise tag. He took some 1 year. He kind of changed the game. He decided that no, I want guaranteed money, and if you want me, you're going to have to pay me guaranteed money. So him and Deshaun Watson kind of reset the market in that regard. But you look around and you're like, uh, if it's not his fault, blame Washington, blame Minnesota, blame Atlanta. Like I think everyone's collective jaws like hit the floor once that contract that he signed with Atlanta came out, where it was just like, who are you bidding against for I think at then 35-year-old quarterback coming off, or 36, maybe 37-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles tear? Like, who are you bidding against? And then they doubled down on it by drafting Michael Penix. And it's like, it was just an even more head scratching decision at the time. Uh, he's 38 now. He came out, he finished the season strong. Don't get me wrong. He looked good in Atlanta. But there's no end product. Like, okay, cool, he can throw for touchdowns, but there's just always been that little thing missing with him. He's been on some good teams, hasn't been able to overcome. And that one playoff win he had was against a very old Drew Brees. I think at that point,
Yeah.
like his shoulder was about to fall off. So I'm not mad at him. I'm mad at
Oh
everybody
no,
else
I
for
mean if
paying the
I'm a
guy.
player, you
Good for
go.
him.
I mean, you
Yeah.
look at the NBA where you got guys that are just scrubs and they're not good
Hmm.
players and they're making 5, 6, 7 mil a year. I mean, if they're going to pay you, do it. I don't
Absolutely.
blame the ab.
Yeah.
And I think the NFL, that's where the NFL union has failed, is that they are in the hardest sport of all the sports, and you're not getting guaranteed money. I mean,
Hmm.
your careers are shorter. Your running back, I believe the running back position it's less than 3 years, the average
Yeah.
running back in the NFL. So you are literally in a position where your career, you're old when you're in your 30s. So you're not
Hmm.
going to be making money doing football. And, they're running out of positions in the media. So you just can't count on it unless you're a superstar. So it's a real hard go for these guys.
Yeah.
If I was an agent and I had a superstar, guaranteed money. That's what I want. I
Absolutely.
want guaranteed money.
Yeah.
And remember, you may be a little bit too young for it, but remember the Bobby Bonilla contract. He signed a
I'm very
25-year
familiar. Yeah.
contract, $1 million a year. I think he's still being paid.
It was I think it was a result. I forget exactly how Bernie Madoff is involved in this, but he got the
Yeah.
Mets owners involved in this scheme. And they
Yep.
decided, yeah, a 25 million 25-year, $25 million contract sounds great. I'm not sure if he's still getting paid, but I think the Mets fans always celebrate Bobby Bonilla Day. But it's
Yeah.
just funny that like $1 million a year is like a thing now.
Super great and
Yeah.
Magic's did a 25-year $1 million when he got in the front office.
Yeah.
So he wanted to make sure that he got paid no matter what, because there was rumors that the buses were always going to sell it, and it didn't, that didn't happen. But
Mhm.
so he wanted to get paid no matter what, even if he is fired. So,
Yeah.
and I think that was smart, because the baseball and the NBA has guaranteed contracts. And some of these guys, it's ridiculous. They're getting paid for years and they're just not good. And you got these NFL players, the second they do the guaranteed, now you're at least getting a little bit of help with your finances, because remember, the NFL, when you retire, I believe they pay for your health insurance for 5 years.
Yeah, I
So
think if you have to, you play for, like, 3 years or something before
yeah.
it vests, I think is the word, and then you're eligible for, yeah, that 5-year protection or whatever, and then I think once you hit that point, there's, like, another one with, the retired players fund, things like that, but yeah, it's not great coverage for a long time, so get your money while you can.
Yeah, now financially, I believe it's five. They have different tiers, because I remember O.J. Simpson was getting like almost $300,000,
Mm.
and then when because we interviewed, that's an interview. Go on our website. We interviewed Nicole Brown's boyfriend, and oh, the horrific things O.J. did that never made the media or the trial. You gotta go to the Forum Celebrity podcast on YouTube and listen to that interview with Keith Slomsowicz, a great guy, and oh, just horrible. But the thing with the Nicole Brown situation is she got millions of dollars, but legally they couldn't touch his pension. So
Mhm.
OJ was living high in the hog and never paid him. So
Mm.
it just really, horrible thing, but that's on the side. But I think that's what needs to happen. That's why if I'm Max Crosby or if I'm other people, that's that's what I want. Guaranteed. I'll take a little bit less if you give me guaranteed money, because what good is
Absolutely.
it to sign a $15 million contract if you're cut,
Mhm.
and you
Yeah.
don't get anything. So yeah, that's horrible. Now another thing, AJ Brown, everyone has, I saw literally 7 different websites trading him to 7 different teams. What do you think's going to happen with him? He's obviously not happy, but he's never happy.
Yeah, he seems like a guy that is on his way out in Philadelphia. It seemed like they had to choose basically between him and Nick Sirianni. There was a lot of clips of them interacting. It was never a positive interaction. There was like some funny body language stuff that was happening after they beat Buffalo in overtime, where AJ gave him this look of it was just this look of utter disdain and disgust as he's celebrating this super fluky overtime win. And that's just kind of the name of the game with some of these Devo wide receivers. They get unhappy with their role. They don't get the ball enough, and all of a sudden it's And he already won. He already got a Super Bowl, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he said something to the effect of, "I have my ring now. I can go get my stats."
Yeah.
So he wants to probably go play for a quarterback that's not running the ball a lot, like Jalen Hurts. So he's probably, he's New England is a name that was thrown around. Maybe down to Atlanta with Michael Penix. Maybe he goes to Seattle, somewhere like they're looking for some names like that. So I think there's going to be a lot of suitors for him. He's still young. He's not even 30 yet. And he's a little bit of a head case, which most wide receivers are, but he doesn't get in trouble off the field, which I think is more important.
He's a
So
good player.
yeah, he's a great player. He's a
Just a
legitimate
pain.
wide receiver one. And I
Yeah.
mean, you and I both know it's as tale as old as time. The diva wide receiver, the give me the damn ball, Keyshawn, T.O., Randy Moss, all these guys, like there's just the best wide receivers, Jerry Rice aside, all have like a little bit of a screw loose in there
Yeah.
when it comes to demanding the
Look
ball.
at John Madden's story with Cliff Branch. He said when Cliff first started in the first, second quarter, he'd say, I could beat my guy. And
Hmm.
then in the first quarter, he'd say, I could beat my guy. And then before the game, he'd go, John, I could beat my guy. And John goes, you didn't even know who your guy is. So it's
It's the
so
confidence.
yeah,
They're always open, always
yeah,
open.
they're
I
always
love it.
open. So
Yeah.
this is an interesting one because there's teams like Buffalo, Kansas City, the Raiders, Seattle, and Denver that may be places that Mike Evans could go to
Yeah.
because I think still he gets injured, but he still has something in the tank. He's very reliable, great runner, great clutch player. What do
Hmm.
you think is going to happen with him? Because he's going to test free agency.
Yeah.
And I love him. I think he's a great. I love his game. He's
He's
great, physical, really good. What do
incredible
you think's going to
player.
happen?
He's not a diva as far as we know. He's got a great mean streak. I think the injury, I believe it was a collarbone injury, and
Yeah.
I think it was against Detroit when he suffered it. So it's not like a soft tissue thing that you're worried about, reoccurring. Like he didn't tear his Achilles, and you're like, okay, maybe that'll lead to other injuries. The collarbone is a broken bone, and those are usually like the less serious injuries when it comes to like long term. I would love to see him in Buffalo. I think that would be
Oh,
amazing. I do not want to see him in Kansas City. I do think
geez.
uh, yeah, exactly right. I think the
He'll do
injury
really
situation,
good. That's why we don't want to see him. But
yeah, he would. I think the injury situation to Mahomes might, give him some pause of like, okay, what am I signing up for? So I would love to see him in Buffalo. It's been a while since Josh Allen has had like a legitimate number one. I'd love to see him in Baltimore. That would be a great one. Just pick like any contender outside of Cincinnati because they're paying, I don't know, $100 million to their receivers, and I think he'd be a great fit there. Just he's the type of guy that he's a great deep threat. He's a red zone threat. Seems like a good locker room guy. He's an older guy, so he's a veteran. He's a good leader, Super Bowl winner. Basically checks a bunch of boxes. And that injury history, I'm not really concerned about because, like I said, it's just a broken collarbone. Like it's not not an ACL or Achilles or something.
I think he'd be perfect at Buffalo. I think Buffalo needs that killer instinct. I don't think they have that swagger. I think they're
Hmm.
nice guys. I think they're great players, but they need someone to go in there and just take it. And
Yeah,
I think that's the problem with Buffalo. They've had opportunities and they don't take it. They just
yeah,
play hard, everything goes okay, but they always seem to fall short. And I think they need that guy to get over the top. And I would get him. AJ Brown, I don't know if he'd be physically he'd fit great, but I
hmm,
think
yeah,
mentally I don't know. He'd be more Mahomes seems to have a way with guys, and I think he would be better fit if he went to somewhere like Kansas City. But I think with Josh Allen, that's his team. He's kind of
hmm,
he's a laid back guy. He's not really a guy that's going to get in your face or anything. Where Mahomes will kind of say, "This is the way we do things," and I think he's more forceful that way. I think him and Tyreek at the end had a little tete-a-tete,
yeah.
and a lot of people are saying, "Well, sign Tyreek." He had a horrific injury,
That's a
and
2-year injury, it seems.
yeah, that's a year and a half of getting back to where you were if you ever get back.
Hmm.
And that was really, and the cheetah's back. I'm going to be back in 6, 7 months. No, there's no way. So I personally, if I was a team, unless you're in a crud division and you think you're going to win it, and you may use him for the playoffs or may even sign him later because he wants a gob of money still. I wouldn't sign him. Everyone's saying he's going back to the Chiefs, but I think that would be a huge mistake.
Hmm.
Yeah. Now, the way we're looking at it too, some of the players are starting to speak out about these travels with in other countries.
Hmm.
I personally think the NFL is just crazy. I know they want more money. I don't know why, but they want more money, and they want everything done. And now they think Germany and Paris and all these countries,
Everywhere.
these
Australia,
soccer
Brazil.
Yeah,
France.
these soccer mad countries are not going to embrace football. I'm sorry. I just think it's ridiculous. I think it's fun once in a while, but they're starting to get carried away, I think, with too many games because it
Yeah.
screws up. It takes away a home game from a team, which isn't fair, ruins them for a week or two. Anybody that's traveled to Europe or anywhere else, you get jet lag, you're fried. What do you think? What do you think about all this travel? I'm against it.
It's so over the top. Like I understand the attraction of another market in Australia, in Europe, all this stuff. It's just become it's just overdone at this point. Like we have games now on Friday nights. We have a game, super early Sunday morning, especially out here on the West Coast. You have to wake up at 6 a.m. To
Mm.
watch your team. Teams like the Jaguars, they're playing in London, back to back weeks, and you're just taking again games away from fans in America that are paying for season tickets. It's not like you're getting a break on your season tickets just because one of the home games is in London or Munich or Australia or wherever it is. So it's fun when it's occasional. It's like, okay, maybe
Yeah.
2 3 weeks out of the season, but now they're making it a thing. It's the NFL International Series. It's like 6 7 weeks, maybe longer in the middle of the season,
Yeah.
where it's overdone. And even at this point, like they're playing a game in Australia, I believe,
Yeah.
before the defending champs get a chance to open the season on Thursday. I think that game is going to be on Wednesday because Australia is a day ahead. They're in the future compared to us out here in the U.S. So it's gotten to a point where it's the NFL. It's not the I don't know, World FL or whatever. So it's overdone.
And look at the WWF. TKO is so greedy. These tickets are so expensive, and I guess they're struggling selling out. And I think they're doing it in Vegas. Remember, they
Mhm.
had the controversy where they were going to do it in New Orleans, and then they got a bunch of money, and they said, "Oh, we're going to move. We're not going to do it in New Orleans anymore." So, and then they're doing it. I believe WrestleMania is going to be in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
Jeez.
they've done a few events there. It's like I get that the NFL, they're going to point to the crowds and all that because there's a novelty aspect to it,
Yeah.
right? If you're in Australia and you're an NFL fan, I know there's a ton of NFL fans down there, and in Europe, you're going to spend money, you're going to travel, you're going to fly or drive or whatever to go to that game. And just like here in the U.S., right? Like they have these international friendlies where a club team will come out. I'm sure you've been or you've
Yeah.
seen some of those
Chelsea,
games.
Tottenham, or
Yeah,
yeah.
and the stadium is full, even though they're playing, their B or C team. I've done that as well because I want to see my team
Sure.
play in person. But there's a difference between a once in a while novelty where you're going to spend money for it versus it being like a regular thing. And again, like it just the at home fan, the in person like fan that goes to games, their experience is just consistently like constantly being the taken away from in some way or another. The prices are going up, the experience is getting worse. There's less and less games on the schedule. It's just the NFL is showing who they prioritize, and it's not the fans that are like at the games.
Yeah, I just read one of my wrestling peeps just said that the WWE has now decreased their prices 25% because I
Mm.
guess they're down 6 or 7 thousand per stadium. Because
Oh wow.
remember they do 2 nights, so
Hmm.
their ticket sales are just dying. And gosh, I think the lowest tickets were like three, four, $500,
Wow.
and now they're going a lot less. They're going a lot less, but it's just this greed thing that we just can't get enough money. We got to bilk the fan, and they're upset. I just saw a thing in Tottenham and at Tottenham Stadium where the NFL always plays.
Hmm.
They're upset because they feel that the NFL and games and also the exorbitant prices that they're making Tottenham fans pay is ruining the home advantage because they had a whole lot of empty seats the last game that they played.
Mm.
And even with Arsenal, they sold out and then they got destroyed, and now
Yeah.
no one wants to go to the games again. So it's just, I think when you price out the real hardcore fan, you lose the hardcore fan.
Hmm.
When you do I've been to games. I used to go to and when I had my business, we'd go to the businessman special at Candlestick, or we went to not but AT&T, and we go to the Oakland Coliseum, and everybody would be in suits and watching the games. But man, it was just it was so much different than it is now, because who has the money to bring a family of four to a game anymore, an NFL game? I don't get it.
You're paying $15 for a hot dog, another $10 for a drink. You multiply that by four, and before you know it, you're paying, $2,000 to take your kids to an NFL game. It's just, yeah, the prices are exorbitant. So I don't blame people for just sitting at home. I mean, I'll just
Yeah,
sit at home and watch Red Zone,
yeah.
with dual screens. The
I
YouTube
love the
TV
red
runs.
zone.
Oh, I've been a very, very early Red Zone
Yeah.
adopter. I think it came out in like 2006 or 7 or something. I don't even remember, but it's been a long time. And I was a very early adopter to the Red Zone experience. So I'm a big
Yeah.
fan.
I liked it a lot, I think. But and I just got two DMs from a couple people, and they said, "Forget the tickets. What about the streaming?" And that is so, you are
Yeah.
so right, Keith.
You
You are
need like
so
4
right.
services for that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I was one young fan on Facebook told me, he said for to watch every WWE wrestling match was almost $1,200 a year to
Jeez.
watch the matches. I'm like, holy Lord, you're just a kid. Well, your parents are paying it, obviously, but
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
just unbelievable. And you look at the now, give it up to the Falcons. At least, I don't know if you guys saw, I saw
Hmm.
their food menu, and man, the food is good, really good, and it's super cheap.
It's like high
So
school concession stand
yeah,
prices,
$1.50 hot dogs,
Yeah.
something. When someone got me the prices, I said, "Come on, it's AI. That's stupid." And then the guy literally showed me, and I thought, "Oh my!" He had a video of it when he goes to the games. He's a season ticket holder. That is amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we'd go to the A's games, and it was only $2 to be in the bleachers. So we
Did you
would
ever
go.
go to Dollar Dog Day nights
Yeah,
on Wednesdays at the Coliseum? Yeah.
yeah, Dollar Dog Day, and they were always treated the kids right. So I think that's hard, and you're starting to see it happen in the NFL. Look at the Steelers. Steelers, when they play the Chiefs are reading it out, and the
Mhm.
Raiders. Don't get me started on the Raiders. It's just home. They don't have a home field.
Nope.
So you got these teams that are the New York Giants, the 49ers, the Cowboys.
Took over.
49ers
Yeah.
overtook their stadium, and everyone's saying why. And the reasoning is because you overprice these tickets. And these poor people are trying to get their money back when their teams stink, or when they're playing a bad team, so they sell their tickets. And then everyone
Mhm.
says you're disloyal. No, you're not disloyal. You're smart. You're giving it to a company that just recently started paying taxes.
Yep.
The NFL started paying taxes because some in the Senate said, why are you not paying taxes? So, out of the
Nonprofit.
goodness of their heart, they said, we're going to start paying taxes because it's the right thing to do. No, you were kind of made to do it. But yeah, and that's the thing, is that you look at just the money they make. It's just astronomical. They're printing money, but I don't get it. Why can't you have a section in the third level for families? They don't have to be down in the field. Have it where it's priced for families. It's
Mhm.
priced for kids. $10 seats for kids or something like that. Regular price for the parents. Something crazy. Good food for the kids.
Yeah, and it's like you
And
can only buy it direct, and you can't
yeah,
kinda like a because I always when with stuff like that, I always worry about, like, the resellers because
yeah.
they are just brutal. They'll snap up all the tickets and then, put a 10x kind of
Oh,
price
I
on it.
hate
So,
those
it should be
guys.
like you can only buy those direct from the team with some kind of verification. I don't know whether it's like a zip code or a school district, something like that. And then, like, you can't resell them, that kind of thing. Like, you can't transfer the ticket to someone else. Like, it has to be very, very, highly controlled, but I love that idea.
Now, one of our great podcasters, Dolph Jackson, keeping it real, Saints podcast. I'm telling you, that guy's taken over. He did a great job with the HBCU, historically black college universities. He went to their game. They have like a senior bowl. I
Mhm.
didn't see anybody else covering it. no major people really were covering it, and I think he did a great job. There's some great players that were there, so please go check out his channel. We're going to be sharing more of his stuff. He's really good. And some of you, a couple of you said, well, he's just starting out or something. He's been doing it a while, but now he's going to get bigger following. He's going to do good, but he also does games broadcasting. So I'm telling you, give the guy some love. We got a lot of great people that we want to be supporting, and we thank you guys all for it. And if you need help, give me a DM. We'll see what we could do. We all kind of help each other. We're all selfish. No, we all want to do well. So
Mhm.
we do it our own way, and you do your way, we'll do ours. Some people have laughed at me. You're too nice. You do this. You give too much. I've never really listened to people. I do what I think is right, and that's what I think's right. There's a lot of talented people like Khaled and Dolph and others that are really good. Isaac of the Packers and Willie Epting is really good, and I'm telling you guys, there's some great people. Don't just go to these national podcasts, because it's the smaller podcasts that are kicking butt. They're really doing a great job. So much
Absolutely.
love, Dolph, and say hi to your wife. We really love her wife too. Uh, so you guys, let's get into the draft, and that'll be our final thing. We got about 5, 10 more minutes to go. Mel Kiper has changed his picks, and not that Kiper's Jesus, but he's kind of the guru of everything. Even though, and someone said, well, had a great question: how many people in the draft? How many get right? And if you could
Yeah.
get 5 to 10 picks, you're awesome. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
seriously. Yeah, you're awesome. So these people, so mock drafts, a few women DM me saying that mock draft is stupid. You complain about reality shows, but that's stupid. Okay, it is a little silly, but it's fun. It's our fun.
It's
So you
so
guys
fun. Yeah.
watch The Mask or whatever the heck, the singing with the
Last thing.
helmets or whatever. Yeah, we'll do our mock drafts. So and to all the women that love the mock draft, shout out. So obviously Mendoza, ESPN had some stuff that the Raiders may trade him for Kyler Murray and some picks. No, it's not happening.
Please.
Uh, Ridiculous. I don't know. It's like so much clickbait. I just,
Yeah.
not
There's a
that I'm
lot
a
of time between
genius.
now and April. They're just trying to fill the the
Yeah.
void.
Now, here was the one everyone's rooting for: Caleb Downs, the safety out of Ohio State, now to go to the Jets. The Jets media loves
Mhm.
this guy. Uh, the guy that's climbing up the ladder is David Bailey, the outside linebacker of Texas Tech. There's a cry from some of the Jets fans to get him second. Now, about a week ago, I had some of these mock drafts have him ninth or 10th, and now he's second or third. So this is what's so crazy. There are guys in the first round that they will not be in the first round when the draft comes. They
Oh,
won't
yeah,
even be in
absolutely.
the first round. It's unbelievable. What do you think about all these changes, and what do you think about Bailey, who's the hot name right now for everyone?
I feel like every year there's that pass rusher that just climbs up the boards for whatever reason, whether he tests really well athletically or he measures well, things like that. I mean, the thing is with Bailey. So with some of these guys, right? It's like you don't see the production, but they get enamored with the athleticism. They're like, oh, okay, he's 6'6" with a 10-foot wingspan and this and that, and he's got a great first step, but he's only got 7 sacks in college, and you're like, I don't know about that production level, and that usually doesn't pan out well. We've seen it like with Cleveland Farrell for the Raiders. Like he
Mm,
just didn't have the production, but he had like some of the athletic qualities, things like that. With Bailey, it seems like he has both. He had 14 or 15 sacks last season. He was a very productive player on a very good defense, which makes you think like how much of that was the team around him. But I think that's where the combine comes in, where it's like, okay, you have production, your film looks great. Like let's tick off one more box. Like if you have some concerns, like, okay, maybe this guy's not as athletic as we think, and he was just using brute force to beat some tackles in the ACC or Big Ten or whatever it is. So that I think that's where it comes into where it becomes a factor. And I think there is some importance to it. You don't want to get too caught up in it, but I am curious to see how he tests. I don't know which drills he's going to do, because a lot of these guys like just choose not to do a lot of the drills. They just want to interview, especially if you're like a top 5 prospect. But I feel like he's going to test well if he does do all that stuff, because he does pop when he's on tape and in games. So I don't think you can go wrong with him, with Ruben Bain, with Arvell Reese. But either of those guys, you kind of flip a coin. You're like, all right, this guy's going to go top 5.
Now, there's rumors that Robert Sala loves Arvell Reese on the edge, so
Mm-hmm.
he could be just saying that. And I think what's going to happen is that Bailey's going to go third or fourth, and then Reese will go third or fourth. I
Mm-hmm.
like Reese, a little bit of a tweener, but I think he's a good player. If you remember Spencer Fano, the offensive tackle from Utah, the monster there, he's great talent. He was also listed as number 2 for the Jets, possibly because their offensive line is so bad. So you just don't know. I mean, this is why this draft. If you are a draft guy, you're going to love this one, because this one's
Mm-hmm.
going to be crazy. Carnell Tate, everyone has him going to the Browns because they need a wide receiver. He's really good. I liked him at Ohio State. He caught
Yeah.
everything near him, physical. I loved his separation. He just has that. He just seems to kind of be, to me, that knack of being a good wide receiver.
Yeah, absolutely.
The guy that I thought was a little bit high was Sonny Styles. I didn't. He's the linebacker from Ohio State. He's a big guy, and they like his size. I think he's 6'4", 250. But I thought he was a really good player. But you know, I don't know if
Worried
I'd have
about
him that
him,
much.
like, is he does he have a position? Is one of those guys like the I think it was Isaiah Simmons a few years back from Clemson, where you get really enamored with the size and the speed, and the guy's like, well, is he a safety? Is he a linebacker? Is he an edge guy? And it's like you'd rather be a master of one trade than a jack of all trades, especially in the NFL. Like you need to have, for the most part, you need to have like an established position. I think that's the concern with him.
He's kind of one of those guys that's in between. He likes, uh, it looks like you either love him or some are calling him, uh, yeah, Mel Kiper, as Dolph was saying, Kiper, the best overall player in the draft, best quarterback, yes, number 1 talent in draft, yeah, absolutely. He's going there. And Dolph, if you're still listening, who do you think the Saints get? They here Kuiper is doubling up. He's had him most of the time. Makai Lemon out of USC, who I only saw a few times. I have to be honest with you. He's a good wide receiver. I saw him against, I believe, Washington and UCLA. I watched him, and he's a good player. But I think the most interesting pick for me is Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame. Where is he going to go?
Hmm.
Everyone has him going to Kansas City. And because they just Isaiah Pacheco, after he got hurt, he was just never the same. He didn't have that physicalness where he'd go over him. He just didn't seem the same player. But I don't know. I love my running backs. If they could catch and they could run, I adore them. And I think Jeremiah Love is really a talent. What do you think?
He's obviously the best running back in this class. I don't see the Chiefs using a top 10 pick on a running back. It's just I think from their perspective, they're thinking this is a one-off situation. We have Patrick Mahomes, we have the best quarterback in the NFL, we have who we think is the best coach in the NFL. It was a fluke that we're drafting in the top 10. This is never going to happen again, So why would we not waste the pick, but kind of, spend the pick on a position where you can find talent, in different places, right? You can use a second round pick or a third round pick or beyond. Thinking about the best running backs in the NFL, a few of them are first round picks, but a lot of them are mid round picks. So I could see Love. I mean, that's a good point. I could see Love, going way earlier than 9. He might not even last that long. I think just because it's like this is a heavy edge rusher draft and an offensive
Yeah.
tackle with some real talent there. And those are the positions that are being prioritized. But I can't see them going that high with a running back. I think if they use a pick that high, it's going to be, if they don't trade down, I think it's going to be on the offensive line or one of these wide receivers if they drop to them, because that was a real issue for them. I feel like with Andy Reid, he thinks running backs are replaceable. They got
Yeah.
that kid Brashard Smith, who looked good at the end of the season in some small role for him. But I don't see them using the number 9 pick on a running back.
I love young running backs. They're not hurt. They're fast. They're twitchy. I love them. So it's hard. I really love. He's a great player. I really like him a lot. So I hope the Chiefs don't get him, but he's going to be an interesting pick. And Dolph has him going to the Jets of the Titans, and he may be right. Uh,
Yeah,
like you said, it may go real early. So it's going to be very interesting. The guy I'm telling you, he has bust written all over him is Ty Simpson. I don't get why he went out for the draft. I didn't read up all that happened, but I don't think he's a pro quarterback.
I think he looked at the landscape. He was like, there is only one guy that you can make a legit case is better than him, and it's Fernando Mendoza. And then you're looking at QB2. It's like, who is his competition? It's Drew Aller coming off an injury, Garrett Nussmeier, who had a really bad year at LSU. That's really it. And then it's a
I don't
bunch of
like any of these quarterbacks other than
yeah. So
Mendoza.
if you're Simpson, you're like, I'm going to strike while the iron is hot, and hopefully, hope that he goes to a good situation where he doesn't have to start right away, or he hopes he goes top 10 and gets a bunch of guaranteed money early on. But yeah, I think that was the biggest part of it. I mean, obviously, I'm not in his head, but it seems like I'm not going to be competing with Arch Manning and Lenora Sellers and some of these other guys next year. It's basically just him and Mendoza at the top, and everybody else probably like a third or fourth round pick.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And Trent Williams has already, the 49ers said they're already in talks to keep him. What is he, 38? Going to be 39?
Yeah, he is 38 years old, coming off an
What
all
an,
pro season, but
yeah, what an amazing player that has lasted this long at the toughest position there is. Uh, and yeah, Dolph, I agree too. There's a lot of good wide receivers. I'm old school. I like the pro style offense. I love that running back like Saquon or someone doing thing. I just love when they can catch the ball. They block. Saquon's a great blocker. I just love guys like that. And I love my edge rushers. You got to have the edge rushers and those defensive tackles. The DL to me, both lines and a quarterback,
yeah,
and I'm good,
all you need.
and I could build from that. I think getting skilled players without an offensive line or DL is just it's not going to work. You got to have those guys up front. It changes everything. That's why the Giants beat Tom Brady twice. Their
Mhm.
defensive line
Yep.
just put so much pressure on them. It took away the run. They
You don't even
can
have to go that
control
far
the
back.
game.
Just look at the last Super Bowl. A couple weeks
Yeah.
ago, Seattle absolutely dominated that game with their defensive line. Like their offense didn't show up till the third quarter, but it didn't matter because the Patriots couldn't do anything because they were sacking Drake May on every other play.
God, I think Drake May had 61 yards passing going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, there you go.
Jeez.
And that was
And
all
then
the D line.
he only had 86 yards passing in against the Denver and they won and people are calling him MVP. I
Yep.
didn't get that. So so yeah, I'm just let's see. Ty Simpson only 15 career. Dolph's on
Yeah.
fire right now.
No, he's right.
Ty
That
Simpson only 15 career starts, not good history. I agree
Mitch
too.
Trubisky
I
is
think
that kind of
when the
guy. Yeah.
49ers, who did they trade for that from North Dakota State years
Trey Lance.
ago?
Trey Lance.
Yeah. He had only I think started 14 games in his career and he was an older guy
And the
and he
FCS too.
just
Yeah. So
yeah, he was overwhelmed. But anyway, we're going to talk draft next week again. We tentatively have someone from a draft site that we like that is going to come on and he's going to talk about it. We're going to argue and have some fun. And Florence and I are going to get ready for our next interview. But Khaled and Dolph, thank you for all that. We're going to have Dolph on the show too,
yeah,
because
everybody
Dolph's not
go work on your 40 times and your bench press. Let's see what you
got
got.
it. And what's the other one? You measure your hand and then
Yep.
the jump up. the
Yeah,
peg jump
there
up.
you go, the
So you
vertical.
got to do that. Pie eating contest, everything at the combine. So thanks everybody for listening to us. Colette, another great show. We got a lot coming up for you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. We do appreciate it.
Thanks,
Take care.
everybody.
Keep
Thanks,
peace in
man.
the streets and be good.